In the winter of 1944, the Ardennes forest was about to become the backdrop to one of the largest battles in US history. Cocooned in a chilling silence, this dense woodland, spread across Belgium, Luxembourg, and France, was about to echo with the thunder of guns and the roars of tanks. The strategic importance of the Ardennes can't be overstated. It was a natural fortress, a maze of trees and hills, perfect for a surprise attack. For Hitler, it was a glimmer of hope in the gloom of an impending defeat. He saw an opportunity here, a chance to deliver a crippling blow to the Allies and turn the tide of the war. Before the storm of battle arrived, the Allied and Axis forces were locked in a tense standoff. The Allies, confident after their successful Normandy invasion, were spread thin across the Western Front. Their focus was on pushing into Germany's heartland. Little did they know, a fierce counteroffensive was brewing in the shadows of the Ardennes. Meanwhile, the Axis forces, under the iron grip of the Führer, were gathering strength. Hitler had marshaled his remaining resources, pulling together a formidable force, poised for a surprise strike. He aimed to split the Allied forces in two, capture the vital port of Antwerp, and shatter their unity. The stage was set for a battle that would test the resilience and bravery of all who fought. The calm before the storm was about to break, and the Ardennes would witness a showdown that would shape the course of history. Under the cover of dense fog and heavy snow, the German forces launched their surprise attack. In the early hours of December 16, 1944, the stillness of the Ardennes was shattered by the thunderous roar of German artillery. This was the beginning of what would become known as the Battle of the Bulge, a desperate and audacious offensive by Adolf Hitler to split the Allied forces and capture the key port city of Antwerp. The German plan was simple yet daring. Using the cover of inclement weather which grounded the superior Allied air forces, they aimed to punch through the thinly manned American lines. The Ardennes, considered a quiet sector, was held by just 4 understrength American divisions. The Germans gambled that they could break through here, encircle and destroy the main body of Allied forces, and drive all the way to Antwerp. The initial days of the offensive were marked by overwhelming German success. Their armored spearheads, led by the formidable Tiger and Panther tanks, surged forward, tearing through the American lines. The surprise was complete, and the American forces reeled under the ferocity of the attack. Yet, amid the chaos and confusion, the American soldiers fought with remarkable courage and tenacity. Outnumbered and outgunned, they inflicted heavy casualties on the Germans, slowing down their advance and buying precious time for reinforcements to arrive. The town of St. Vith, a critical road junction, was a particular focal point of the German attack. Its defenders, though surrounded and under constant attack, held out for 6 crucial days, disrupting the German timetable and providing a beacon of hope in those dark, early days of the battle. The Allies were caught off guard, but they were far from defeated. As the news of the surprise attack reached the higher echelons of the Allied command, they began to rally their forces for a counteroffensive. The Battle of the Bulge was far from over, and the greatest tests were yet to come. Despite the initial shock, the Allies quickly regrouped and mounted a counteroffensive. In the wake of the German onslaught, the Allies found themselves caught off guard, but they were far from defeated. With determination and grit, they began to rally their forces for a counteroffensive that would ultimately turn the tides of this crucial battle. This was no easy task. The Ardennes forest, with its dense trees and rugged terrain, was a challenging battlefield. But the Allies had a secret weapon: their indomitable spirit. They refused to let the harsh winter conditions and the surprise attack break their resolve. In the face of adversity, Allied generals, including the likes of Dwight D. Eisenhower and Anthony McAuliffe, began devising strategies to halt the German advance. They knew that they had to act fast. The stakes were high and time was of the essence. Every decision made, every move executed, carried the weight of thousands of lives and the outcome of the war. One critical strategy was to reinforce their lines and slow down the German advance. This would buy them time to bring in reinforcements and prepare for a counterattack. They also focused on protecting key locations, such as the towns of Bastogne and St. Vith, which were vital for controlling supply routes. As plans were put into action, the Allied troops rallied with renewed vigor. They knew they were up against a formidable enemy, but they were ready to fight. They dug in, fortified their positions, and prepared for the battles to come. The spirit of camaraderie and bravery among the troops was palpable. It was not just about winning a battle, it was about defending freedom and everything they held dear. Meanwhile, back home, news of the surprise attack had reached the public. The reaction was one of shock but also of resolute support for the troops fighting on the front lines. The home front rallied, providing much-needed moral support for the soldiers, demonstrating the unity and resolve of the Allies. With their lines stretched thin, the Allies held their ground, ready to fight back. They were prepared to do whatever it took to halt Hitler's last major offensive and bring the war one step closer to an end. In the heart of the Ardennes, tales of heroism emerged amidst the chaos of battle. Amid the clatter of gunfire and the roar of tanks, ordinary men rose to the challenge and became extraordinary heroes. The Battle of St. Vith, for instance, marked a significant turning point in this conflict. Outnumbered and outgunned, the American troops stood their ground against the German onslaught. Despite the harsh winter and the enemy's superior firepower, they held on, buying precious time for the Allies to regroup and launch a counteroffensive. Simultaneously, further south, the town of Bastogne became a symbol of the Allies' indomitable spirit. Encircled by the enemy and cut off from the rest of the Allied forces, the defenders of Bastogne refused to surrender. In the face of a German ultimatum, Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe famously responded with a single word: nuts. This defiant stand against overwhelming odds rallied the troops and became a morale booster for the entire Allied force. And amidst the large-scale battles, numerous individual acts of heroism occurred. Private First Class Richard Cowan, for example, repeatedly braved enemy fire to destroy German tanks with his bazooka, earning him the Medal of Honor. And there was Lieutenant Colonel James Rudder, who led his Rangers in holding off an entire German division despite being outnumbered nearly 10-1. These men, and many others, displayed extraordinary courage under the most trying circumstances. They fought not just against the enemy, but against the biting cold, exhaustion, and the ever-present specter of fear. Yet, they held on, driven by a sense of duty, a commitment to their comrades, and a steadfast belief in their cause. In the face of adversity, these heroes fought with everything they had, proving their resilience and bravery. Their stories are a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and overcome, even in the darkest of times. Their actions, their sacrifices, turned the tide of the Battle of the Bulge, and by extension, the course of the Second World War. The Battle of the Bulge was a turning point in World War II, but it came at a great cost. As the smoke cleared and the deafening sounds of war fell silent, the aftermath of the conflict was laid bare. The landscape, once a serene winter wonderland, was now a grim testament to the horrors of war, scarred by the heavy machinery of battle and the bitter struggle for survival. The end of the battle marked the exhaustion of Nazi Germany's military capabilities. Their last-ditch effort to change the course of the war had failed. The Ardennes offensive had drained their resources, and the tide of the war had irrevocably turned in favor of the Allies. The Allies had managed to hold the line, displaying resilience and determination in the face of adversity. The soldiers who had endured the harsh winter and the relentless enemy offensive emerged from the battle as heroes. Their courage and tenacity had not only defended the line but had also paved the way for the final push into Germany. However, the victory had not come without a price. The battle had claimed the lives of thousands, leaving a deep wound in the hearts of those who had lost their loved ones. The United States alone had suffered over 80,000 casualties, making it the bloodiest battle fought by the US during World War II. The impact of the Battle of the Bulge was far-reaching. It had shattered the illusion of German invincibility, proving that the Nazi war machine could be defeated. This decisive victory had given the Allies the momentum they needed to press on towards Berlin, bringing the end of the war within reach. The Battle of the Bulge stands as a testament to the sacrifices made and the bravery shown by those who fought. It serves as a poignant reminder of the cost of freedom and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. The legacy of the Battle of the Bulge lives on, a poignant reminder of the cost of war and the valor of those who fight. This was not just a battle, nor a mere chapter in the annals of World War II. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the strategic brilliance of generals, and the unfathomable courage of ordinary soldiers. In the peaceful Ardennes forest of today, we remember the heroes of the Battle of the Bulge, their sacrifices never forgotten.